This evening, yes, I'd like to talk very briefly about the unfinished business of America as it relates to equal justice under the law. But before I do that, let me just reflect for a minute on the contributions of my colleagues in the Congressional Black Caucus. Any reflection on Congressional Black Caucus members' accomplishments in this Congress must begin with the recognition of the incredible leadership role members of the Congressional Black Caucus are playing. In addition to our great Democratic whip, Mr. Clyburn from South Carolina, who is only the second African American to hold this position, more than half of our caucus members, 22 in all, are now serving as chairs of committees and subcommittees. And I have to salute and acknowledge again Madam Chair of the Ethics Committee tonight in her leadership, also first African American woman appointed to the Ways and Means Committee. It makes a difference to have, again, Stephanie Tubbs Jones' voice on both of those committees, and also as a leader on both of those committees. Also, in addition to the significant achievements in both legislative and oversight, the Congressional Black Caucus members have also continued to play a major role in so many issues. The CBC has been long referred to as the conscience of the Congress for its members' steadfast refusal to turn our backs on injustice and for our commitment to shining the spotlight of truth on issues of injustice and racial prejudice wherever they may arise. I am proud to say that in the 110th Congress, the Congressional Black Caucus has continued with this proud tradition. When Don Imus once again crossed the line and denigrated the women of Rutgers women's basketball team, members of the Congressional Black Caucus were there to call him out, to document his long history of racially offensive remarks, and to help see to it that sponsors understood that supporting such behavior is just bad business. More recently, we were part of the national call for justice for the 6 young people from Jena, Louisiana, whose case represents an example of racially biased justice or injustice that is too familiar for people of color around this nation. Let me address another issue, which my colleague, our chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, Mr. Thompson, just mentioned. Tomorrow, the Senate will hold a cloture vote on the confirmation of Judge Leslie Southwick to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, in August, when the Senate Judiciary Committee voted to send his nomination to the floor, I joined with my colleagues in the Congressional Black Caucus in speaking out against his nomination. I also expressed my profound, and I mean my very profound, disappointment as a Californian, first of all, and as an African American, and as a woman, that a senator from my home state, Senator Feinstein, would vote with the Republicans to bring the Southwick nomination to the Senate floor. Numerous concerns have been raised about Judge Southwick's commitment to equal justice, which Mr. Thompson, Congressman Thompson, just enunciated. Now, I have profound concerns about the commitment to equal justice and dignity of anyone who thinks that it is ever acceptable for someone to refer to someone else using the N-word. The idea of elevating a person to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is quite frankly unacceptable. The fact is that the Fifth Circuit has the highest percentage of minority residents of any other circuit, yet all of the nominees over the last 22 years have been white. In fact, there is only one African American member of the court, and he is the only second since the court was created in 1869. The recent case in Jena, Louisiana shows the racism in the criminal justice system within the jurisdiction of the Fifth Circuit. The case in Jena makes it clear why we cannot afford to send anyone less than a civil rights champion to serve on this court, let alone someone with a record of hostility toward civil rights, someone who thinks that it is ever acceptable for someone to refer to someone else using the N-word. We have come too far from the days of Jim Crow to tolerate the type of racist miscarriage of justice that we have seen in Jena and in the record of Judge Southwick. If we are ever to overcome the legacy of racism in this nation, we have a duty to our young people to see to it that the principle of equal justice is upheld. If we truly believe in our nation's principle of equality before the law, then we have to make sure that everyone, regardless of race, is held equal before the law. So we are looking to our colleagues in the other body to take a stand for civil rights. to take a stand against racism and to take a stand for justice and to block the nomination of Judge Leslie Southwick. In so doing, we would take another step in completing this unfinished business in our country that so many people fought and died for. So I want to thank the gentlelady from Ohio for once again stepping up to the plate, using her voice and her leadership to call for justice in our country and to help defeat the nomination of this individual, Judge Southwick.
Before you leave, Congresswoman Lee, how many African American members are there in the California delegation?
In the California delegation, there are 4 African American members of Congress: Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Diane Watson, Congresswoman Laura Richardson, and myself.
And to your knowledge, did Senator Feinstein even bother to contact you, any of you, with regard to this particular nomination and her voting?
Well, I know we attempted on many occasions to reach many members of the Senate, including Senator Feinstein, and we were not able to have a discussion at all about this nomination, which was really unfortunate because I believe that people in California, all people in California, people of conscience, people of color, people on both sides of the aisle do not want to see a judge from the Fifth Circuit confirmed with this record as Judge Southwick. And we were very disappointed that we did not have the opportunity to have those conversations.
And in addition to the 4 African American members of the California delegation, how many Hispanic members of the delegation are there?
We have a very large Hispanic congressional delegation. I would believe there are probably, let's see, Congressman Javier Becerra, Congresswoman Lucille Roybal Allard, Congresswoman Grace Napolitano. We have Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, Congresswoman Linda Sanchez. We have
Cordoza.
Congressman Dennis Cordoza. We have a very, very strong, very active, and very committed delegation from our Latino community in California.
And in fact, a significant number of the issues that the African American community raises around civil rights are some of the very same issues that the Hispanic community raises around civil rights issues as well.
They're the exact same issues that our Hispanic community raises, also the same issues that our Asian Pacific American community raises. In fact, to the extent that we have decided several years ago to form what we call the Tri-Caucus, where I believe there are at least 73 votes that really do count and make a difference in this body. And so, yes, we are all on the same page as it relates to equal justice under the law.
I thank you very much for your time and your attention and your leadership around so many issues, Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you again.
Once again,